Now talking about the exercises of the respiration. So differentiate between respiration and combustion. So in combustion it is the combustion of the carbohydrate, right? Respiration on glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Respiration it is the CC bond breakdown to release energy. Then glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Glycolysis, that is EMP pathway, and it is the partial breakdown of the glucose, right? And then there is a Krebs cycle occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. And aerobic respiration and fermentation, you know, the aerobic respiration and fermentation. Aerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm, mitochondrial matrix, and then inner membrane, right? What are respiratory substrates? Name the most common respiratory substrate. So what are respiratory substrates? Respiratory substrates, specifically the glucose, and can be fats and lipids. Name the most common respiratory substrate is glucose. Give the schematic representation of glycolysis. So glycolysis, it involves like 10 step, right? And 2 ATP is the net gain of ATP during the glycolysis. It is partially breakdown of glucose into 2 pyruvic acid. And now, what are the main steps in aerobic respiration? Where does it take place? So the main steps are, these are the Krebs cycle, then ETS, this electron transport system in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Or where does it take place? As you now give the schematic representation of an overall view of Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle oxalo. So Krebs cycle acetyl coenzyme, then with the water and oxaloacetic acid there is a condensation from alpha ketogluteric acid, then no citric acid, then alpha ketogluteric acid, then succinic acid, then fumaric acid, then malic acid, then oxaloacetic acid. So this is the Krebs cycle. Explain the ETS present occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, now there are electron carriers, and mostly the ubiquinol, and then cytochrome C. Distinguish between the following: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration takes place in mitochondria. Anaerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm. That is talking about the glycolysis and fermentation. Okay. So, and then there is glycolysis and citric acid cycle. Okay. What are the assumptions made during the calculation of net gain of ATP? There are so many assumptions. Discuss the respiratory pathway. Okay, the respiratory pathway is an amphiphilic pathway, right? Because it also involves the anabolism, that is synthesis of fatty acids from acetyl coenzyme. So it also involves breakdown and synthesis of catabolism and anabolism. So this is why it is a amphiphilic pathway. Define RQ. It is a respiratory quotient, that is CO2 evolved by amount of oxygen consumed. What is its value for fats? It is like, for fats it is, I think, 0.7 or something, 0.9 for protein, 1 for carbohydrate, and for fats it is less than. Okay. And what is oxidative phosphorylation? So oxidative phosphorylation, it is oxidation and reduction takes place to synthesize the ATP, that is the oxidative phosphorylation. What is the significance of stepwise release of energy in respiration? Because what is the significance of stepwise release of energy in respiration? because not all of the energy will be lost in the form of heat. So this is why they occurs in the stepwise release of energy in respiration. So this is all like your chapter. Okay, your chapter, right? That is the respiration is done.